So then we went back to the hotel. We had a quick bite to eat. We dropped off our stuff, and then we started hitting panels. And this was good for us this year because last year, me and my congoer friend, Billy, we didn't actually go to any panels last year. Not because there weren't any, not because we didn't really want to, but there was not really anything that interesting last year. Or at least we didn't think so. Because we were looking at that and we were just like, eh. So we never actually went to any panels last year. And that was one of the very disappointing things about it. So this year I was basically looking at it and I was like, okay, we're going to go to panels this year. It was like, even if they're crap, we can at least say we tried them. So the first panel that we went to was a panel called Ghost in the Shell Into the Net. And it was a small group of people. The panelist had like four panelists on it. And it was basically just talking about the Ghost in the Shell series and the films and going into the various different themes of those shows. And it was a good time. It wasn't like the best panel I've ever been to, but most of them weren't. But it was one of those things, it was the kind of thing that I hoped to get out of a panel, which was nice, intelligent discussion about a show that I was interested in. Immediately after that, we rushed all the way across the DoubleTree Hotel to get to the Haibane Renmei panel. And I was actually recognized by a guy in the Haibane Renmei panel. That was cool. And that panel was really sort of interesting, but also sort of irritating because one of the panelists, he was referred to as a doctor. I wasn't actually there. We missed the introductions of all the people on the panel, but like halfway through the panel, one of the other panelists referred to him as doctor. And he was old enough that he looked, and by what he was saying, he sounded like he teaches in a university. So, he knew his shit, but at the same time, he kind of got to more of the preachy side. Because Haibane Renmei has a lot of religious themes to them. They're not like blatant, and they're not like Evangelion religious type things, but there's still a lot of symbolism and everything in Haibane Renmei. And he just went to town on it. And he almost seemed like there was this kind of set way of this is probably how everything went. He left enough things open so that you could expand upon that and you could make your own interpretations, but he seemed very set in his ways, and that was slightly disappointing, but at the same time, it was very nice to actually hear someone who knew what the hell they were talking about to some degree, and that was amazing, because it was like sitting in on a university class of Haibane Renmei, and I've had that once before that was close, because in my first year of university, one of my profs had he was talking about symbolism with Madeleines, if you know what a Madeleine is. And he brought up various different references in pop culture to Madeleines. And one of them was Zero Experiments Lane. And he actually had this nice big chunk of his lecture based on Zero Experiments Lane. And that was amazing. So that was very cool. The next panel we went to but quickly bailed on was the Hellsing panel, which was 18+. Because as soon as we got in there, they promptly informed us that there would be spoilers. And I looked at my friend Billy and I was just like, you haven't seen the last 2 episodes yet, have you? And he's like, nope. Because we've been waiting for the dub because we got into Hellsing with Crispin Freeman as Alucard. So, we're caught up the Hellsing Ultimate as far as the releases go, but we haven't seen the last couple of OVAs because they haven't dubbed them yet. So we quickly bailed on that because we're just like, as much as we want to talk about Hellsing with people, we don't want to be spoiled to the final 2 episodes. We'll wait. We're fine with that. So we left, and then we went back to the hotel for a bit, and then me and the lady friend, we went to the final panel of the night, which was hard to go to because I was very tired. It was midnight. Before I went to the con, I was asked by one of the panelists for the YouTube panel if I could come to the panel, because she was just like, you're in YouTube, you're anime, you should come to the panel, and it made a lot of sense, because it's a YouTube panel, and Anime North, and hey, I do a lot of stuff on YouTube, like this. I'm doing this. This is YouTube stuff. It's an anime con, and normally what I do is anime related, so I figured, yeah, I might as well go to this panel. The panel wasn't bad, but the panel was not what I was expecting it to be, and had I known, I probably wouldn't have gone. Not to say that it was a bad panel, but if you went in with the expectations of it that I did, you'd probably see why I was disappointed, because I went in thinking that it was going to be about the anime community on YouTube, and I didn't know I knew one of the people that were on the panel, which was Dr. Holocaust, because if you're in Toronto and you do any kind of video producing to the extent of not fully professional, but not totally amateurish either, like kind of what I do, and you don't know who Dr. Holocaust is, you're living under a rock. But anyway, so I knew who he was, but I didn't really know who anybody else on the panel was. But I just thought that was my own problem of not like reaching out into the anime community on YouTube at large, and I didn't. That was what I thought it was. Turns out, the reason why I hadn't heard with a lot of these people, because a lot of them were either vloggers, and there was a small chunk of the panelists that were League of Legends based. And while this was fine, it was, again, not what I was expecting, because I thought the panel was going to be was like YouTube, but with an anime twist. It was more so just kind of a fan panel for the specific panelists who are well known for their YouTube channels. And as someone like me who didn't really know who any of them were, it didn't make a lot of sense to me to go. Because it turned into a Q&A panel, and most of it was Q&A about the individual people, and I didn't know who they were, and it was kind of awkward for me, and I probably wouldn't have went if I had my time back. But, so then I went back to the hotel, went to bed, got up the next morning, with very little sleep, but I was totally fine, and that's the magic of the con, because you're just like, it's the con, gotta go to the con. So, then there was day 2 of the dealer's room, and day 2 is when I actually start buying more shit, so I ended up picking up, what did I pick up? I picked up the second half of Gundam Wing, I picked up Rose and Maiden, I picked up, both volumes of the Chobits manga omnibuses, I picked up Dead Man Wonderland, and I think I picked up Darker Than Black too, or Darker Than Black was on Friday. Either way, so we did that, and on Saturday we split everything up between 2 runs, one in the morning, one at night. And in the afternoon, I went to the Steins Gate panel. And at the Steins Gate panel, I think it was my favorite moment. I think it was my favorite time in the entire con. Mainly because it was a panel that I really enjoyed, first of all, and then there was the nice bonus stuff both before and after the panel started, where because I walked into a room full of Funimation fans, and I think it was Funimation fans. I don't know what it was about Steins Gate that caused all these people to come here, but a lot of them knew who I was. So it got to the point where when I walked into the room, on my way of trying to find a seat, like 3 people came up to me and it was just like, "Hi, you're Okada, right?" And then I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." And I was trying to find a seat. And because I had like a 1-track mind, and I didn't like standing in the aisles blocking people who were trying to come in and find seats and everything. And then at the end of the panel, when I got up and me and Billy were gonna move up front so we could have a better view for when they actually started showing episodes of Steins Gate, because they had the hour of the panel with the voice actors, and then the second hour was to actually watch the show. And it was in that in between space between the hours that we were moving, and then like 5 to 10 people just came up and came over to said hi, wanted their picture taken, shook my hand, things like that. And it was amazing, because I was like, I don't know what to say. Because at first there was like 1 or 2 people, and I was like, okay, I can deal with 1 or 2 people. And then there was a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th. And I was like trying to keep up 2 hi, thank you very much for coming and talking to me, conversations with 2 people while taking a picture with a 3rd. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm very much an introvert. Like, I can sit here in my room because I'm here in this apartment alone talking to a camera, and that's fine. But get out into the social spaces, I kind of get freaked out. But I still appreciate it very much for everybody that came to say hi to me in the Steins Gate panel. It was probably the best part of my con experience this year, and I thank you all. But the panel itself was very nice, because this is I think it was the first time I've seen J. Michael Tatum in person. I think I might have seen him at ASEN 2 years ago. I can't recall if he was there or not. But this is the first time I actually met J. Michael Tatum. Or I didn't really meet him per se, because I can't do that shit. I can't go up and say hi to these people because I don't know what what to say in this situation. So I'm fine with watching from afar. But it was cool because he and the rest of the voice actors for Steins Gate, they all talked about their experiences with Steins Gate. And it was sort of weird for me because even now, I haven't seen much of the Steins Gate dub, mainly because I'm waiting to actually own the show. And like, I was in the dealer's room a number of times trying to find it for cheap, but I couldn't get Steins Gate for like under like $140. And I didn't have $140 to spend on one show when I could have bought like 2 or 3 for the same price. So that was depressing, but I'm going to get it eventually. Probably when I get paid next. And because I told myself I would, because I got to own it. Anyway, but it was still nice to see, because I had known Tatum from a number of shows that he's done. So even though I never actually saw the final product of the English dub at Steins Gate, I still really enjoyed the panel, and it was great to listen to. And then the second half, oh god, the second half. This is when the voice actors had left because they had other arrangements. I think they were doing autographs or something in the autograph area, or whatever it was they were doing. And me and Billy, we moved up and we stayed so that we could actually watch Steins Gate because he had never seen Steins Gate at all. So I was like, oh, you got to watch Steins Gate, dude. Problem was there were technical difficulties, and being near the front and watching this scene go on. It was painful. I don't know what the actual problem was. At first, it seemed like there was some problem with the connection between the projector and then the machine. And then after like 10 or 15 minutes, they went and they got a new machine. They went and they got a new DVD player and they plugged it all in. And I know it was a DVD player because the menu actually popped up. It was like, it was a Pioneer or a Panasonic DVD player. And a number of times it said open, so I'm guessing they opened the tray, they put it in, it said play, and then it went like black screen, and then it went back to the menu. And we were sitting there, it was like half hour, 40 minutes, that we were just sitting there watching them trying to figure out what was wrong. And I don't know what was wrong, I don't know what happened, but I was like, okay, no, we gotta go. Because this is a real waste of time. And it was really depressing because I wanted to show them Steins Gate. But I wasn't willing to just stay there because we left and we finally decided to leave because I looked at it and the guys, it got to the point where they honestly looked like they did not know what was wrong. And that was the problem. It's one thing as if they knew what was wrong and they just were in the middle of fixing it, but they didn't seem to know what was wrong. Honestly, from what I saw, it almost looked like they were trying, because the Steins Gate release comes in a Blu-ray combo pack. I have this feeling that they accidentally put in a Blu-ray disc into a DVD player. I have a feeling that's what it was. I could be wrong. I absolutely have no idea what the problem was, because it seemed like the projector could connect to the DVD player fine, but the DVD player, for whatever reason, just wasn't reading the disc. That's what it looked like to me. And it was 45 minutes. We were just sitting there, and we were just like, yeah, no. So we left. And that was depressing, because I really wanted the show. I really wanted to see more Steins Gate, and I wanted to watch the dub. After this wonderful talk by Tatum and everybody else, I wanted to see the dub. Oh well, I'll watch it eventually. So then we went and we did another dealer's room run, and it was kind of depressing. On the way back, I didn't tell anybody this, and by anybody, I mean I didn't mention it to the lady friend, and I didn't mention it to Billy. But on the way back, if you went to Anime North and you were at the Crown Plaza, you know what the hill is. To get to the con from the Crown Plaza, you go through the parking lot of the Crown, and then you have to go up a hill to the highway. And this hill's rather steep. And it was after our second dealer's room run. We were going down that hill, and I felt like I twisted my ankle. I didn't actually twist it, and it's perfectly fine now. But right there, I was like, ow, 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 ow. But I tried to play it cool because I was like that. And got back to the room after that, and I had originally planned to go out for another panel. It wasn't actually a panel. It was a geek musical performance that was like at 8 o'clock or something. I was told it was going to be really good, and it was very highly recommended to me, but I didn't end up going because I was just like, I can barely stand right now. And by barely stand, I mean like I could walk around and stand, but I didn't want to walk all the way back to the con and all the way back. And I felt really bad that I couldn't go to that, but I really wanted to, but I didn't. And what ended up happening was that we were there, and then we ordered some pizza, and we played Dungeons & Dragons, as proper nerds do. And that was fun. I love playing D&D. And I love playing D&D in person, because I've done too many times where I've played D&D via the internet and map tools, and it's just not the same. To play D&D in person is the best way to do it. And that was fun. And we did that. We watched some Hidamari sketch while we were eating, and that was cool. And then we stayed up, chatted for a long time, and then we went to bed. And then on Sunday, we got up, did the final dealer's room run. I picked up a bunch of stuff, and then we said goodbye to the con. Which is depressing. I hate leaving the con, mainly because we always leave so early. We're normally out of the hotel. We're out of the con by like 11. We leave the con 11:30. We get back to the hotel room, make sure everything's packed, and then we're out of the hotel by 12. And then we're home. Like I was home by like 1:30 on Sunday. It's depressing because the con keeps going until like 6 or 7. But we're never around for that. And there actually were a number of interesting panels that I wouldn't have mind going to on Sunday, but we just didn't go because that's what happens. We were talking, and this was year 9. So me and Billy kind of made a pact with ourselves that next year is our 10th year at Anime North, and we're going to go by going big. Instead of arriving on Friday and leaving on Sunday, we're going to arrive on Thursday and leave Monday. Oh yeah. Now that means it's going to be almost double our hotel bill, which isn't that great, but it'll make for a much better con, we think. And for our 10th, that'll be really good. So thank you for sitting and listening to my talk about me going to a con. Thank you very, very much for everybody that came to the con. All the various people that I met, people I said hi, people that give me figures because, wow, hello, yes, this was randomly given to me. And, well, maybe not randomly given to me, but still. I got a figure of Angel from Angel Beats now, and I'm very, very happy about this, because I don't buy figures as a general rule. Most of my money is spent on anime and manga, so I was very, very happy to receive that. So thank you, and thank everybody that came and said hi. And if you missed me, I will be going back next year. I can tell you that right now, because 10th year, I can't skip out on year 10. That would just be bad. So unless something happens to me and I'm physically unable, or if I'm dead, that's the only way I'm not going to Anime North next year. And based on the response of people that I got last year, I'm thinking about trying to figure out some sort of a panel to possibly do next year. Probably just, I don't know if it'd be a Q&A panel on Glass Reflection, or if I would actually come up with a topic and do something for a panel. But I need to do something, because I know there were a lot of people that didn't get to meet up with me. And as much as I was doing my best to keep my location updated via Twitter, not everybody follows me on Twitter, so there was still a good number of people that didn't find me, or found me very, very late. There was like one guy who literally caught me as I was leaving on Sunday, and that was cool. I'm glad I got to meet him. But that happened. So if I was to make a panel, then I would just announce my panel like a couple of weeks in advance before the con, and everybody who follows me will know I will be here at this time, and then they can come and say hi, and that would be really great. But I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. Anyway, I've talked for way too long. My throat's about to die, and thank you for listening. For those who didn't go to the con, for those who went to other cons, I hope you had a good time. Talk about your con experiences in the comments below, because cons are awesome. And if you've never gone to a con, try and go to a con. Cons are fun, especially if you can go with friends. That's like the best thing to do. Going by yourself, well, I've never went by myself, so I wouldn't know how that is, but I could imagine it wouldn't be as good. You should be able to go by. You should go with friends, if possible, or find people to meet up with and go with them. And with that, I leave you all. Until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.